um, so called Scott Johansson's. That was a little pre live whatever you call it, pre live intro, but um thank you all for being here. I know we started this late in the season, but it's been fun, hasn't it, Seth?
It's been a blast. Can't wait to talk about the championship finale and what we got planned for you guys later on in the year.
Yes. So why don't we start with a couple housekeeping things? So these lives will, will for the time being, will be the only content we are putting out due to some technical issues going on that I don't want to get into, but um, hopefully those issues will be resolved here shortly. But hopefully within this day or two, and we'll get back to doing content like you guys haven't ever seen. But right now, we are here and we are here to talk about the NASCAR Championship weekend. So, where do you want to start, Seth?
Well, you just head down the line. I think one of the first things we want to talk about is obviously there's been a lot of controversy, right, with NASCAR and the championship race. We're going to kind of dive into that. We're also going to talk about our opinions on who ended up winning in each series and ultimately what led to their success, as well as what could have been done differently and other people for other drivers to potentially put them in the right spot. So there's a lot we could talk about, but we could definitely talk about the truck series first. Um, because that I think that's the one that's a little different, right? That's the one where Corey Heim just had the car. He had the truck. He had the truck to beat. And he went out there and performed. And he led all those laps going into the last couple restarts, and um, I think when you look at like the last couple restarts, especially as when they're coming off pit road, um, starting back and in the rows and then working their way up. Um, Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for saying hi. I think that Corey Heim made a difference on that last restart to make it 7 wide, right? And ultimately went up there and won it. So I don't know what Justin's opinion on Corey Heim is and his success in the Truck Series, but that's history. That's gonna stand for a very long time.
First of all, hi to everyone in the chat. Thank you for tuning in as we're sitting here talking about the weekend. Um, and what I think about Corey Haim is why isn't he in a lower series next season full time? Maybe defending a club championship, maybe at Finney full time.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what his future will be, and I think that it's smart for him to stay in the lower series learn a little bit, right, and be the best he can be. Besides just being put in the Cup Series, I think if you look at the people we've done in the past, I don't think Ty Gibbs, he got rushed up. John Hunter Nemechek, I think he got rushed up too. So I think Corey Heim needs to. They need to just be like, okay, you're doing well. Let's just focus on this. Get your racecraft ready, and then make the jump. Don't make it too early, like we've seen in the past. So um, I think it's one of the best spots that he could be in for sure. His options are open, but I don't think, given the 12 wins, that doesn't mean it's a necessary to put him in the Cup Series just because of those statistics, right? It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different environment, and I think that Xfinity he could do probably. I put him another year in truck. I know it's weird, but I put him another year in truck. Get some get some great foundations with those drivers. Maybe part time in Xfinity. Get him exposed to it, and then see how those part time races in Xfinity go, as well as trucks before they put him back.
Yeah. And so, with that being said, um, you know, he is a rebellion driver for Country 11. And I honestly believe, and Seth, I want you on his opinion. Tyler Reddick is getting up there in age. And do you think Tyler Reddick would be the odd man out and Corey Heim full
I know
time?
this. I know this sounds crazy, and I'm thinking about this, but how about this? Danny Hamlin leaves JGR. He races for 2311. He's got his own team. He races for his own team. And then Corey Heim, later in his career, after this final year that Denny Hamlin has, depending on whatever his decision is, right?
Right?
Then Corey Heim, if he proves himself, races for Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
I think that's what I see. It all depends on what happens, right? And how what Denny's decision is. Does he stick around for that final year in his contract? Or does he just be like, okay, I've had enough success, I want to enjoy it and not try to push it. Because, Jimmy Johnson did that, He wanted to still be part of the sport. He raced a couple years later on in his life and he fell off on success. I think you want to leave on good success.
Yes. You
Uh,
do.
I don't think Denny Hamlin is done. I don't think Denny Hamlin's definitely not falling off. Right, he's doing well. He just didn't get the championship. So I mean, it's a very unique conversation, and we'll see coming on the next coming weeks.
Yeah. Um so with that being said, uh lost in the whole thing is the fact that the 12 of Ryan Blaney won the race.
Yeah,
So he's got the momentum going on in uh going on to Daytona and
I think that
and
I think sorry, but I think that it's like I think momentum is there, but when you're during the off season, a lot of things happen. I think you kind of lose that. But I think one of the interesting things is, what if Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano made the championship four?
again,
We're looking at something different, right? We're looking at a different outcome. They showed up again at Phoenix. They were just not eligible for the championship.
yep,
So I think that that's important to note, that if they go to Phoenix in the future, watch out for Penske and try to keep them away from making it to the championship four.
Now let's focus on next year, and we all know that Homestead is back where it belongs. But I heard um recently they are planning to rotate the championship race around. So if that is the case, what class do you think deserve the championship race?
You kind of want to keep it neutral, right? I think Homestead is a really good option because it's a very unique track. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. I would say Richmond, New Hampshire, Bristol, those short tracks, right? Where there is like the need to have success and stay out of trouble. Then that's where they get that, that excitement, right? When it comes down to the final end of the year, right? You want to have that excitement so the fans are excited, right? So um, I think Homestead's a good thing. I like New Hampshire. I like what New Hampshire does. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. I wouldn't be shocked to they bring it to Phoenix a couple more times. Um, I don't think that Martinsville is a good idea. But there's a lot of not Texas, Kansas maybe because they got to have results, right? They got to have results of people showing up and being there, right? And then the finishes need to be there. So I'm looking at all the finishes from those races, and then that's what they need to look at when they're rotating this.
Yes, because I have heard that they are looking at a rotation of class.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion is I like the idea of rotating the class. Now, another heated discussion over the past couple of days, weeks leading up to the championship is the one race when and you're in format. Doesn't appear that we will have that come next year.
I mean, if you want to think about it, I think the one win and you're in is not the issue. I think the one win you're in is a good way of getting people into a bracket system, right? So I think that if one person wins and then like let's say 16 drivers win, right? That's 16 drivers. Everyone gets zeroed out, and then you have 10 races. Whoever has the best of those 10 races is your champion. That's the way that I think NASCAR should do it. I, but you still keep that one win. You're in the playoffs. You're locked in a spot, but it's still 16 drivers. You're still kind of battling it out for those positions, and you're still kind of in those routes, but you're not making it as aggressive for each round. They do each of one of these rounds, and that's what causes all these issues. So I think 10 races, no matter what happens, whoever does better of those 10 races are there. But
Yep,
here's the one difference. Okay, we're gonna switch to a comment back there where it says Denny should have won. I agree. I agree that I wanted Denny to win. But this is the but. How is this format? How is this one final race any different than an NFL Super Bowl? Sometimes you go in there, you think you're that prepared, you're doing great. All of a sudden, you have an interception, you got a fumble.
hmm
I think that it's just that's the way that I think of it is. It just comes down to one race, and you got to perform. Do I agree with that statement? Do I agree with that? No, I do not agree with one race things. I don't. And I think that it should, like I said, it should be those 10 races within those 16 drivers, and then whoever does the best out of the 10, and then like let's say it's a tiebreaker, right? If it's a tiebreaker, it's the best finish out of those 10 And then if you both win a couple races, it'd be win win offset, win win offset, and then the next closest finish after all of their wins. So like let's say you have one more win, you're already ahead of them. But if you get 3 wins and he has 3 wins, you look at the next closest, second, third, fourth, until you find where that's the discrepancy. So I think that should be thought of, and maybe something could happen in the future.
Yeah, you know, uh, I agree with you. They need to come up with something fun, and I, think if I go NASCAR, which I don't know the higher ups, I don't know who I know,
Yeah, it's
but
it's all up about their opinions and what they want to do. They want to do something fun for excitement, and I think they're going to do whatever it takes to have excitement. And I just don't think that that's what they should do. I think that they need to make it exciting too.
yeah. Um, with that being said, thank you for the comment. Um, whoever commented got. Um,
We read every comment, so make sure to comment on anything, and we'll answer your questions.
yep. One of us will see it, right, Seth?
Right, I've been watching it clear as day every time I speak. So I think there's a lot of examples of this playoff format where Connor
Y-
Zilic, man, I felt more hurt for him than I did for Denny. Um,
yeah.
because
Go ahead.
Connor did such a great job this year, and he led in every category, and he didn't win.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. And I said it. It comes down to one race. All it takes is a flat tire. And who said all it takes is a flat tire to ruin a race? Me, right at the beginning of the year. And if it wasn't for a flat tire, Denny Hamlin would have won.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. Just kind of, and I bet you that right when that tire went down, guaranteed it because they want it to be exciting. They want those restarts. They want the excitement.
Yeah. But I will defend NASCAR when it comes to that. The coming for blowing a tire. Yeah, he wasn't going to make it back to pit road.
No, he wasn't.
So I think we're having a technical difficulty. Sorry,
I look
guys.
great, dude. I mean, look at that. That's a good face. Yeah, his
Yeah,
internet's not going very well.
yeah. So, but no. I want to say uh thank you, and unfortunately, um, due to the internet issue, that might be all the time we have.
Can you hear me still though?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm just frozen.
so um thank you guys for watching.
We always appreciate you guys. Sorry for the inconvenience tonight.
Yes, sorry for the inconvenience. Nothing
And
we can do about it. And
and maybe
well,
maybe Justin and I will do another episode and do a half episode some other time this upcoming week. so we can make up for the 10 minutes, or we'll do it on our typical Tuesday night things, and it all depends on schedules and everything. But we keep everything, think about everything through and through. So
Yep. All
uh,
right. We will talk to you guys later.
thanks for tuning in to Start Your Engines.